Is how we spent the day trapped in internal conversations, creating stories, answering questions no one asked, and judging us every step of the way. What if I told you that this mental noise is what keeps you from moving forward? That the universe, even strange at first, is the true portal to transformation? The question is, are you ready to dive into this void and discover its essence? Much of the weight we feel does not come from the outside world, but from the mind that does not shut up. That ancient voice which awakens before our eyes open, always reminding us of what failed yesterday and what could go wrong tomorrow. It's exhausting, isn't it? But here's a secret. That voice, it's not you. Seems strange at first. We've been taught to believe that our thoughts define who we are. Your thoughts change your life, they say. But what if the challenge is not the content of thoughts, but the fact that we never let them cease? Your voice, which sometimes sounds like a counselor, is actually an invisible prison, a cell made of words that limit us, judgments, fears, comparisons, beliefs. Imagine yourself on the edge of a peaceful lake, perfectly mirroring the sky. But all it takes is one stone, and the waves distort everything. So, is your mind when agitated? Want to see clearly? It takes stillness, and for that, inner chatter needs to give space to learning. Labeling every moment, a space is born. In this space, serene joy, pure clarity, a peace that does not depend on anything, emerge. Eckhart Tolle calls this emotional weight we have cultivated over the years a body of pain. It grows every time we relive old sorrows or drown in self-criticism, but there is a way out of it all. This body of pain takes shape. Fueled by fears and memories, it becomes a compelling character, almost an alternative self. And the most curious, it sounds so familiar that we end up with who we really are. Me, if you were that voice, who would listen? There is a space between thoughts, subtle, almost invisible, but there, in that silence, lives something grandiose, a presence that observes, that does not judge, that is just, and that presence is his true being. Traditions call it soul, essence, spirit. Each name points to the same place, that in us, that never changes. Thought dances between the past and the future, but this presence inhabits the now. It is where true freedom lives. Convinces us that everything needs to be analyzed, explained, controlled. But she is rarely present. She jumps from what she was to what she could be, moving us away from what she is. It's not the traffic that irritates you. It's the story your mind tells about it. It's not social networks that bother you, but comparisons that your mind manufactures. It's not the facts, it's the narratives. Course in Miracles said, "Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. In that is the peace of God. Your thoughts are reflections, shadows. As long as you focus on them, you will lose light." Brief moment when you stop talking to yourself. How to open a window in a stuffy room and let fresh air in. A relief, a freedom that needs no explanation. Without silence, the more you fight with the mind, the more it screams. The key is to observe, not fight. being present like someone who listens to the rain without wanting to control it. Tell you that it's terrible, that without her, nothing works. But remember, the sun rises without fanfare, the heart beats without orders, life even happens in silence. You without that voice. When she shuts up, what emerges? This is the question that is in no hurry, that does not require an answer, just presence, and perhaps a touch of courage to hear what the character reveals. Mirror, when clean and serene, it accurately reflects, but if cracked, it distorts. The restless mind is this broken mirror. It shows fragmented versions of who you think you are. Forgotten childhood, where everything was laughter and discovery. There wasn't this voice narrating everything. You just were. It ran, it created, it breathed, present, whole. Told you that even today, inside you, there is a portal to that lightness. It didn't disappear. It was just buried by the noise of the years, by the voices that said who you should be. Part of the mental storm, the soul whispers. It is a kind, almost imperceptible invitation to return to the center, to what is simple and real. Stillness is not shouted, it is felt. Wisdom already spoke of this. Let the mud float. Allow the water to become clear. The more you push, the more cloudy everything gets. But when allowing everything to be, light appears. Silence is not absence of sound, but total presence. It doesn't bother, it doesn't demand, it just is. Like an effortlessly flowing river, it finds its way. You need to understand the universe. You just need to welcome it. When you stop looking for answers and just observe, you will see that life is all the time trying to talk to you. Words, but in pauses, not in movement, but in breathing between steps. The miracle dwells in presence, peace, in the now. The accelerated mind wants to prove, control, plan, but the heart knows there is wisdom in just being, in letting things reveal themselves in their own time. It only takes a moment of presence to dissolve years of noise. A single conscious sigh can open a window of peace that transforms everything around. The world is like a cloudy glass of water. When you stop stirring, the mud settles and clarity emerges. Stillness, then, is not absence, it is revelation. And to realize that what seemed attractive is actually a fertile field. It is in it that ideas, ease, and discoveries about oneself spring up. The voice that used to scream becomes a whisper, and that whisper brings messages that do not come from fear, but from the truth that lives in its center. Every instant expands. A simple look, a distant sound, a breeze on your face. Everything seems more alive, more real, more you. What was fighting turns into dancing. You no longer fight with your thoughts. You just watch them go by, like leaves carried by the river. This is possible. It doesn't require effort, just presence. A smooth delivery to the now as one who lands on firm ground after much flying. Is still the same out there, But you are no longer the same in here. Something has reorganized. Silent order has been established. Every thought you let pass without grabbing, the universe expands like a horizon that opens up after the mist. Universe dwells something powerful, not absence, but presence, not empty, but completeness, a fertile field where wisdom flourishes. Inhabit this space, the less you need the certainties. Confidence springs up, calm, serene, constant. Align with that state. The answers don't have to be sought. They emerge, softly, like leaves in the wind. In the universe lives a broader belief, which does not come from effort, but from dedication. Wonder is not giving up. It is wisdom. It's recognizing that life knows the way, even when you don't. Got this far? Congratulations. Not for me, but for you. Because something about you really wants to wake up. Recognizing the illusion of noise, you begin to remember the sound of the essence itself, a mute sound, but full of meaning. Your mind is not in control. It is under observation. It is in silent love that perceives without judging, that welcomes without demanding. Point in my life, everything seemed to spin in a wind, but a falling leaf made me stop and take a deep breath. In that moment of presence that I understood, I was not the confusion, I was the silent space around her. Video touched anything on you, share. Perhaps someone is also waiting for this kind reminder. Peace is here now.